some of the things that you said, just about this topic, one comment that really struck home for me, I've just heard it so much, is if it isn't a hot dog, a French fry, or a pancake, they're not eating it. And isn't that the way it is with so many children in especially the United States? Seems to be a big problem just in developed countries in general. It seems to be that this is just kid food, right? And so that kind of is working against us in a lot of ways. Commercials that are geared towards children, and even just sometimes our own thinking of what, like, it's giving our kids a good childhood, right? if we feed them these things, they're going to be missing out if we don't. But there's not always a balance, and that's what we're going to talk about today. There's a way to strike a balance and also make sure that our goals are being met for how healthy we want our children to be able to be. So I actually interviewed my kids this evening, and I asked them a series of questions. If you see me looking down or to the side, I took some notes. But I asked them some questions, and I'll tell you what they said. So the first thing I asked them was, why do you like water? Because from the time my kids were little, that's all they wanted. Very rarely did they want juice or soda or lemonade or something like that. And my kids are now 8 and 10. So their answers are a little more educated than they would have been when they were like 2 or 1, when they just told people, please give me water. I don't want soda, which people were shocked by. But now my kids said, it keeps us alive. It's fresh and healthy. It makes me feel healthy and happy. Those were their words. Made me proud, actually. And then I asked them, what are your favorite vegetables? And some of the vegetables they named were rainbow Swiss chard, carrots, spinach, peas, green beans. I asked them their favorite fruits. They said bananas, mangoes, apples, oranges, strawberries. Do your kids have favorite fruits or vegetables? Do you want them to have more favorite fruits? Are there ones that they won't try? So these are some of the things that my kids named. I asked them, why do you eat fruits and vegetables? They said they're healthy and juicy. Juicy, I thought was kind of funny. But it's true for the most part. And then I said, how do you think you'd feel if you ate candy and hot dogs and French fries every single day and you never had fruits or vegetables or healthy food? And my son said, I'd feel sick. I'd have a headache. It's just too much junk food. And my daughter said that she would feel sick. She wouldn't feel good. And then I asked them one more question. Why do you want to make healthy choices? And they said, to feel good inside. I want to be healthy. And I don't want to have stomach aches or headaches. So let me know, I want to know, do your kids say any of these things? And if not, how would you feel if they did? And then I thought we could talk a little bit now about some of the suggestions that are out there mainstream, which in my opinion don't really work very well, or they don't teach the right thing as far as what we want our kids to ultimately learn. So one big one is hide it, right? Hide the vegetables, hide the fruits in their food. Like make a sauce and just puree some vegetables and throw them in. And the amount that they're actually getting is so little. So that's the first reason that I don't really buy into that so much. And then the other one is I don't like trying to sneak things on my children. I like being open and upfront and making it something that like this is what we do because it's like our choice. It's a healthy choice. The other thing that people say a lot is just give your kids vitamins because they're not going to eat it anyway, and at least they won't be deficient and get sick all the time. And what I say to that is kids are a lot smarter and they're more capable than sometimes we give them credit for. And also vitamins are not a replacement for food. Scientists know that, doctors know that, there's studies that show that you don't absorb everything in a vitamin and you don't get the same kind of nutrients that you would get from food. So it can't be like a substitute. And then another thing that is suggested to get kids to like buy into eating fruits and vegetables or healthier foods is put it in dessert. So like zucchini muffins or fry it up, which yes, it'll make it taste better, but in my opinion, that's teaching these things are disgusting on their own and they need to be like changed in order to be good. And that's just not something that I want to teach my children. So the things that have worked for us, there's a few different things. One is setting a good example. The second one I wrote down is education. And the third one is don't let them off the hook. So when it comes to setting a good example, we always talk about why are we making healthy choices? And I will very often I'll make a salad and I'll say, hey, come help me make the salad. And I'll put in the different things. And then while I'm eating it, especially when they were little, I did this a lot. I made it a big production. Like, oh, this tastes so good. I'm really like happy about how this is like making me healthier and I'm going to feel stronger because of it. And kids, they listen to that and they look at our example and they want to imitate us. So you never underestimate the benefits of just setting a good example. And if you're struggling to make healthier choices yourself, that's okay. Just do that. And your kids, they're watching you. I promise they're watching you. The next thing is educate. So just talking on a regular basis about different foods, what they are, name them, teach them the names of the different healthy foods, talk to them about why they're healthy, what kinds of vitamins are in them. Even if you don't know, do a little bit of research, make that a project that you do together with your children. There's classes that people put out there. There's things on YouTube. There's so many things. I even have this Dr. Seuss book, and I was going to show it to you, but I forgot to bring it close to me. But it's a Dr. Seuss book. The things you can do that are good for you. That's what it's called. And I've been reading this book to my kids since they were born. And now they read it on their own. And it goes into all the different foods that are good for you and exercising and just healthy habits. So education is key, and they're never too young to learn about these things. So don't feel like, oh, they won't understand, because kids can understand usually a lot more than we think they can. And then don't let them off the hook. So treat it like any other behavior that you're trying to instill in your children. So if you do a reward system, or you say, okay, if you don't listen, you're going to get this consequence, whatever it is, treat it the same way for getting them to eat, the healthy choices. So for example, I'll never forget my daughter. She was like 1.5 years old or something like that. And I had like the healthy home cooked meal, and then I had a cupcake. And I was like, you have to eat this bite before I give you the cupcake. And she cried and she screamed, and she's been stubborn since she was born. And she went on and on and on, but she finally ate it. And then she got the cupcake. And we have certain rules that we've had since they were little. With the water thing, that didn't happen overnight. I didn't give my kids juice when they were little. I didn't give them soda. So water was all they knew from the time they were little. So then when they had a taste of juice and a taste of soda, they preferred water. So if your child is kind of flip-flopped, where they're really used to those things, it's going to take a little more work, but in time, they will notice the difference, because water is so much more refreshing than any other beverage. And that's what my kids, even to this day, they're like, I just need water. So it's the same way with fruits and vegetables that you add to a meal. What we've done is, if I make a pretty traditional meal like meat, rice, vegetables, I will portion out their food, and I will take a small amount of the vegetable, maybe like a tablespoon or two. And as they get older, I increase it more and more. But they know they have to eat that. They don't have a choice. They have to eat it. And if they want seconds, or they want left, they want dessert, if there's going to be dessert, like, they have to eat that. And another rule that we have is every meal they have to eat either a fruit or a vegetable. So I'll ask them with breakfast, what do you want to have? But if that's like, tell me, does that sound daunting? Are you doing some of this now? Tell me in the comments. People have told me, there's been a lot of people asking me, like, how do I get my kids to even get started? And it's really just taking it one small step at a time, one meal at a time, and just making it non-negotiable. And just say, this is what I expect. And it's just a small, tiny little bit. Just taste it, and then you'll get this reward. That's how we've done it. And every kid is different. So find what works for your kid, but make it a non-negotiable. Like, this is what we're doing, and that's it. Okay? And another thing that I do is I make a point in my mind to add vegetables to every single meal that I can. And I'll even add extra vegetables. So if I make something like lasagna, for example, I'm making it a vegetable lasagna. I'm adding a whole bunch of vegetables. If I make shepherd's pie, same thing. I'm adding a whole bunch of vegetables. Tacos, I'm adding vegetables to my taco meat. So they know, okay, vegetables are in everything. That's just part of my life. All right, let me see what else I wrote here. So I'm not going to go too much into my upbringing, because this isn't really about me. This is about you, and what you want to do for the children in your life, and tips for that. But just briefly, I was raised in a very health conscious household. So from a young age, it was always home cooked meals, encouraged to like play outside, exercise. And I also studied nutrition at a young age. So this is like a passion of mine. It was a huge part of my life before I even had kids. So that colored, how I did things. But my husband is pretty much the complete opposite. He didn't like vegetables at all before we got married. He didn't like most foods, especially healthy foods. He's Pennsylvania Dutch, so it was meat and potatoes. And if you had a vegetable, it was boiled and soggy. And that's just what he just had a very bad thought process when it came to healthy food. He thought it tastes gross, it tastes like cardboard, it has no flavor. And then when we got married and I started cooking for him, and I interviewed him too, so I'll tell you a couple of the things he said. Why he likes eating vegetables now and why he likes healthy meals. He said it's because I season it good and the vegetables fit the meal. So it's not like a haphazard meal. Everything kind of goes together. And I haven't always been a good cook, but I read recipe books, I looked up recipes, I experimented. So you can learn at any point. Just, start simple and you'll learn what spices go really good on different vegetables and different foods, and eventually it'll get easier and easier. The other thing he said is that I bake instead of boil. And that's true. It makes a huge difference, especially with vegetables. And some other things as well. Even like potatoes, they just taste better baked or roasted than boiled. Steamed is okay too, but like when you just boil it in water and it's like ready to disintegrate, that's just not appetizing at all. And he said he feels better. Like he can tell that eating like the fruits and the vegetables and the home cooked meals, he could tell that he feels better because of it. Another thing that he said that he thinks makes our lifestyle sustainable is that we're balanced about it. So it's not all in 100%. You just eat healthy food and you never get any kind of treats. Like, too bad for you. You're a crunchy kid. Like, it's not like that. If we go to a party, they can have, a little bit of soda, or they can have some juice, or they can have candy, or whatever it is. But we don't necessarily have those things in the house on a regular basis. So it's more of a treat than a regular part of their diet. Same thing with like fried foods, hot dogs, chicken nuggets, pizza, all that's processed food that just doesn't have a lot of nutritional value. They do have it from time to time, but it's not their staple. Their staple is just things that are more nutrient dense, like we talked about last week with clean eating, how it's looking at your foods and seeing how much nutrition you can pack in. Just do the same thing with the kids. When you think about your meals, don't make a separate meal for the kids. It's okay, you're eating what I made and it's healthy, and we're gonna get used to it. So it might sound hard. Tell me if you're thinking it sounds hard. It might sound impossible. Tell me what are you thinking right now in the comments? Tell me, do you have you gotten some tips that you think you're going to try? Are you feeling excited about it? Are you feeling overwhelmed? If you are feeling overwhelmed, that's okay, because new things are always scary, and because it's not the norm, especially for kids. The norm is Fruity Pebbles and chicken nuggets and french fries and hot dogs for every meal. Like that's the norm. So it's scary to think of doing something different. But if you set your intention and you remember that it's worth it. It's worth it to teach healthy habits to your children. It's going to decrease their risk of disease. Any health problems that they do have, it can only help them feel a little bit better. It's going to improve their immunity. They're going to have less nutrient deficiencies, and they're going to learn lifelong habits. They're going to look back and they're going to thank you that you taught them this. It's never too late to get started. And I know, I thank my parents. I look back and I say, thank you so much for raising us healthy. I remember my mom used to take us to the doctor and they said, those kids are solid. Wow. They are like sturdy kids. And it's because we ate healthy. We ran around outside. And it's the best thing that you could do for the children in your life. Maybe you don't have your own children right now. You have grandchildren. Whatever it is. Just, if you're overwhelmed, just start small. Make a goal of, you know what, I'm going to get one fruit or vegetable into my child this week. Start with that. Then start with once a day. Then, slowly go to each meal. And it'll take some time, but I promise they'll get used to it. Just like if you're trying to start a new habit, it's so hard at first. And it's even that mental of, I don't know if I really want to do this. But when you start to feel the benefits, then you're excited to keep going. And your kids can notice those things too. My kids say all the time, I want a healthy breakfast. Make me an omelet. Or I want this vegetable in my dinner tonight. And, they acknowledge if, I ate that junk food and now my stomach hurts, I don't feel good. So they can make those connections. So I hope that this was helpful for you. If you have any questions, put in your questions, even if it's after this video, and I'll answer them. But, just let me know your thoughts and what, if anything, that you're going to try to start implementing like next week. And have a good night.